future of tomorrow, the backbone of the country when they make a difference tomorrow. Yes, I'm talking about the young population of the country, the world's largest democracy that we live in. But these very young minds have a very important responsibility ahead of them. The responsibility of making that difference by casting their vote. But the bigger question on today's Mirror Now special with me, Nivedana Prabhu on Youthgram, is what are the concerns that young India has? What are the factors that they're going to keep when they go in to cast their votes? And most importantly, what kind of change would they want to see on the ground? Join me on this special as we bring these questions to very important voices of SRCC college students. What do they think? You will know when you join us today. I'm guessing you're going to be voting this time, first time voter. Very excited?
Yeah, I think it's part of our duty and responsibility as citizens of this country, so definitely excited.
You know, as you speak about being excited for your first election in terms of going and exercising your mandate, what are the primary concerns that young India has? What are the concerns that you have in your mind while you will go and exercise your right?
Sure, I mean, we know that India is in a very pivotal position when it comes to the rest of the world in the remaining century. And so we're just hoping for better policies that facilitate growth for this new generation. We have a very large population, how the government takes care of that population, just that.
You know, what would you say are the concerns that we have on ground reality in the past couple of years? The way you've seen the country doing, do you think there are certain sectors that you would like for young India rather would like to see a bigger growth in?
Sure, I mean, education and economic growth is something that we as young people are concerned about because we'll be entering the real world, and so that transition to be as smooth as possible would be all these sectors then that affects that transition will be something that young people will care about.
You know, talking about young people, what are they concerned about the most? There are lots of, topics about jobs. How do you see that pan out of certain sector that you're a part of, that you would want more development and jobs to be happening?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, every sector, like we are a privileged part of this, we're a privileged part of India, and so we're looking for jobs in consulting and tech and these sectors, and we just want more interconnectivity with the rest of the world so that we can transition and have better careers. So we view it from that perspective.
All right, talking about perspective, if there's a perspective that young India wants in terms of politicians and leaders in the country, what is that one thing that youngsters look forward to?
We would want our leaders to not be polarizing, to be very honest with the population, to try to keep unity above any partisanship, and that would be our concern.
You know, the question is absolutely straight in terms of development. What is young India thinking while they cast their vote?
Okay, so as a young graduate and as a young voter who is going to face the heat of unemployment and all other things as a young person, so I want to see a leader who is visionary and who could transform the nation in terms of infrastructure and all the ecosystem which is needed to leverage the power of youth.
All right, as you speak about the ecosystem that young India sees, in the past couple of years, as a young Indian, what are the sectors that you believe have been pressing concerns that you would like to see change in the country?
The sectors may be India, there is a lot of power of youth and there is lot of youth, right? So lot of Indians are migrating to other places, mainly Europe. It's just because there is no place to showcase their power, right? So India in that kind of terms, there's lot of room to growth. So I think we need that kind of places to develop to leverage that power of youth. Yeah.
So you're basically saying essentially there's no surprises for guessing there. Indians are smart brains. There's a lot of talent, but you believe opportunities being implemented is not enough?
Yeah, that's the thing. Like we have the thing in terms of supply, but there's no demand for our talents. That's the thing why Indians are migrating. So I think India can develop in that kind of things like making opportunities for the youth.
In terms of young voters, they know what they want. This is a generation which is extremely sure of what they're looking at. It doesn't matter if you're talking about politics or otherwise. So what do you want as a young voter?
So the life I'm from Kerala, so the life I've seen in Kerala is far different from what I have seen here. So when I came to Delhi, the first when I was traveling, the first thing I saw was people doesn't have a home, they doesn't have a shelter. So that disturbed me so much. The education and health care in India is very concerning. Like, people doesn't get proper education. I can see kids in the street, they are not going to schools, they are begging for money. So that is very concerning for me. So when I go to cast my vote, I'll look at a person who will be able to overcome these issues, who will be able to solve these issues, who will look into these issues. And when talking about GDP growth and all, India's GDP is rising, there is growth, but what's happening is that rich is getting richer and the poor is getting poorer. So the inequality is increasing. So what I want to see is that the poorer getting richer, not at least they get the basic amenities, then only the India will develop. That's what I think.
All right. So basically, essentially, of course, the way we're looking at this is in terms of growth and opportunity in every sector for every class. A very valid point that she makes in terms of civic infrastructure. That's probably something that young voters would be keeping in mind. Is that a pressing concern?
Yeah, that's a pressing concern in most part of India. I'm not sure about which all parts it's a concern, but yeah, surely, as I said, infrastructure is needed for the growth. So first of all, we need to focus on infrastructure. So I think whenever policy is concerned, there is two parts: infrastructure and the political leaders or the government's ambitions for that thing. So even though the political leaders or the government have some ambitions in some sectors, we need that infrastructure to build that base, right? So I think first we need to develop the infrastructure for these kind of developments. Even though it's developmental kind of topic, we need development of infrastructure in IT spaces, in home, like she said, the shelters. And I'm not aware of what kind of infrastructures are needed. Like, we need roadways, we need home, and I think first we need this base to develop upon and grow. So I think infrastructure is surely a pressing concern.
So what is that the young Indian voter wants this time around?
So actually, I think that currently the change in policies according to the Indian government, change in reservations, as well as better education facilities, as well as job opportunities are very much important in this areas. So I would request everyone, my friends, and to vote for the first time. Even if you don't want to anyone, then go voting. At least go voting for them.
All right, so basically exercising that particular right that you have. Let me find out from you. Your fellow friend, your fellow college mate has, of course, made a very valid point as to what the young voter wants. As a young mind, what is it that you would like to see in terms of changes?
First of all, I want to see the change in infrastructure development in this country. Infrastructure is the backbone of this economy. So if you want to grow our economy, it is infrastructure which can help us more. So in recent times, we have seen that infrastructure has seen growth, but in particularly railway sector, it is not seen that much. So I want that railway should be in utmost importance of this upcoming government.
All right, if you're talking about the railway sector, what kind of growth would you want to envision? Would you want to see more technology that will be enabled? How do you view that?
Yes, of course, technology also, and even we have seen that in recent Kavach technology was introduced, so it is very beneficial as it will provide safety to the passengers, and government has told that it will ensure that every train in this country will be put in the Kavach security system. So yes, of course, and apart from this, railway has seen that in many festival seasons and holiday seasons, excess of rushes in the even AC coaches of the trains are there. So it should be controlled by starting new trains on the tracks and like that.
All right, a bigger push in the railway sector is what this young Indian mind wants. What are you expecting from the government? What is it that your young mind is thinking about?
See, first of all, I'd like to say that in the past 10 years, India has had a much bigger role on the world stage. As the years have been going by, India has been growing in influence, growing in power. Something that needs to happen along with that is, let's talk about the internal side of India, right? things like education. Why is there a brain drain in the country? Why are a lot of students going outside the country to get their education? Why are startups being incorporated outside the country and then they're operating here? These are some very important problems that need to be tackled by the government, because things like ease of doing business. India, as a growing economy, does not have good ease of doing business. On the index, we're not very high up. This is something that needs to be tackled, but at the same time, something I'd like to say about the incumbent government right now is that they have been making good strides in a lot of sectors that had been falling behind, let's say, 10 years back. If we're talking about things like infrastructure, I'll give you an example. I'm from an area in Gurgaon that 10 years ago was just one high-rise society and a highway. Right now, it's a bustling corporate hub. So that is something that you could talk about infrastructure. Other than that, things like education, the government has been making good strides in education, but again, more needs to be done. And other than that, things like railways and a lot of other sectors, the government has been making strides. But given India's larger presence on the world stage, we need to do better. We need to do more, and we need to have more transparency. That's about it.
So you think basically at the moment India on a global stage has seen a much better viewpoint as compared to the past couple of years? All right, you've heard him out. He's spoken about certain points that he believes would probably be a change. But what are the concerns in your mind when you're going to vote? We all know, of course, there can be political opinions. But at the end of the day, what you face on a day-to-day basis might be one of the driving factors which will make you to go and vote and make that difference.
So in my viewpoint, as the concerns regarding the vacancies of central government and the government, because around I think so 9.4 lakhs are the vacancies are allowed and they are not creating the wealth. क्योंकि vacancy के चलते the employability is not there regarding that, but employability नहीं हो रही है, and the vacancies जैसे economic dividend of India is very at the pace कि बहुत अच्छा है, but अगर ये जो भी employability नहीं होती है या resource को अच्छे से manage नहीं कर पाए तो it will be difficult for India to get the, क्योंकि यही resources आगे जाके as a liability create हो जाएगी इंडिया के लिए, and it can raise major concerns regarding that. Development हो रही है, but regarding in the education sectors, जैसे इन colleges में vacancies जैसे seats बहुत बढ़ा दी गई है, and it's a major issue क्योंकि resources infrastructure नहीं है कि वो capable हो पाए कि accommodate कर पाए all the concerns regarding that. And so that's my major concerns कि universities and major open होना चाहिए कि जो भी जो brain drain, as the friends my said कि brain drain हो रहा है, and the measure हुआ is economical viable, and measure of the क्योंकि millionaires हो रहा है recent time में, I think so I have read that 13,000 थे recent में, and 5 years में और 10 years में it will be millionaires be about 19,000 कि जैसे जैसे आ रही है. So जो भी economical viable है वो ज़्यादा prefer कर रहे हैं कि outside India जाके education ले. Why that infrastructure and the quality of education cannot be implied in India itself? That's my major concern regarding that. And the education sectors then can have a more effect on each and every one of the person.
तो आपको लगता है कि जो बच्चे जाते हैं बाहर पढ़ने, if the same facility is available in the country, then why go out at all when you can have that exposure over here? And rightly said, you're a young voice. You've heard all these very important fellow young voices. Is there a certain factor that you have kept in your mind while voting, or are you just very excited to going in and casting your vote for the very first time?
So I was really excited to vote, but unlike my friend, I was not able to go to Bengal to vote. So my biggest concern right now is the accessibility of voting. Like many students in India, they shift to other cities to study. So be it for financial reasons or be it for academic reasons, they aren't able to travel back to their home country to vote. So I think a lot of votes go waste year on year because of this problem. And I think we have a facility right now for registered students where they can vote in some other city, but that information has not been made public a lot, or maybe even after going on through their website, I was not able to find the form, or the form was inaccessible. So I think this is a major change that needs to happen for both the employed people and the students as well in India.
Fair enough point. That might be one of the factors that might not culminate into a lot of votes, considering a lot of these students here also, I'm sure, don't belong to the national capital, but are here to study in one of the best universities of the country. If I were to ask you this, in terms of jobs, this has been one of those topics that everybody speaks about. Does the youth have enough opportunities? What are the sectors you're looking at? You're studying at one of the best colleges, like I said, in the country. So how do you foresee that? Do you think there is enough that is being done by the centre in terms of employment opportunities?
I think there has been enough development in this field. And right now, like the service sector contributes a lot to the job, but the manufacturing sector is also developing. And This year we faced a little problem even last year because of the recession going on throughout the world. But I think in the coming, this is not something that will be recurring. This was a one-time problem, and I think in the coming times there will be significant development in this field.
I would like to add something for employment. So we are standing at in SRCC right now, and it is one of the best colleges for commerce. Even in this college, not everyone is placed. I come from Lucknow. Most of my friends from my school, where they are studying, there's no placement at all. Like no one is getting placed. They have to go for the government examinations. They need to go for higher studies to get some employment at the graduation level. There is no employment right now, and in the past few years, I feel it has curtailed. In majority of it, only if you do an MBA or if you postgrad, then only you are getting some amount of packages. Otherwise, I think it's not good right now.
All right. So, does anybody want to add into that? Yeah. Okay. All right.
I think the youth of India has forgotten that they need to work more on their employability, whether they have developed or more on themselves. If the government is pushing you to work more, giving you those extra years of extra studies, and then you are more employable, and that's a good sign. And if you look at the data, just look at the unemployment figures, they are the lowest in the last 15 years. So when you talk about whether the employability in the country has gone down, just look at the data and then speak about it, right? And if the youth is complaining that the government is forcing us to study for more years and then get a job, I think that's a problem, that people are not ready to push themselves and work on their employability. Like for our college, there were 400 students who registered for the placement process. 305 have been placed already. So that's a 75% placement. And when you compare that with IIMs, they were also struggling to get placements. And if an undergraduate college is able to get a 75% placement, I think that's more than enough.
All right. So, yeah.
I don't think it's a India-specific factor right now. It's on a world stage where countries like US are struggling comparatively more than India. So I don't think it's a government-based thing where employment has decreased right now. But it's a macro-level thing because of COVID-hit factors and various economies being hit. Our employment has gone down.
All right. There is one, of course, we've tried to cover most aspects of it, but let's talk about something that has probably changed most of our lives, actually all our lives, the digital push, the digital growth that we've seen in the past couple of years. In fact, everybody over here might not even be holding cash anymore because we've seen how that really works, how that's transformed. Is that one of the sectors you believe we've done, exceptionally well? And keeping that into factor, is there a bigger chance of pushing the sector a lot more? And what does Young India think? Because Young India has the ideas. Is there something that the government should do a lot more of?
So I would like to mention the case of ISRO, that that Mangalyaan was a great success, and that was a great achievement that the government achieved, and more better could be done in that sector, as well as artificial intelligence also coming into the picture, and many students are benefiting from it, and more focus should be focused upon it.
Do you think political parties do enough for young minds? Have you seen that? Do you think they do enough, or don't you think that push for the youth is there?
I mean, they have done quite a bit, because now we see the rise of startups. That is one major thing that has been seen. People don't want to do a job for someone else and grow their business. They want to enter into their own business and make something out of their own. And that is a mindset that has been advocated by our government also a lot. But definitely when you talk about development, there's no end to it. There's always you can do more to it. And talking about the digital infrastructure, I myself am a user of that. So that has aided a lot. And the AI, I believe that there's a strong need for a policy on the AI, like the 3 criminal laws that were passed. I believe that more than that, there is an importance for the digital law that is to be passed by the government, which is still in consideration, and that has to take into consideration the various harmful effects of AI that can be posed. Like when we see the creative industry, many people complain that their job, their work is being stolen, and that is not being reported effectively. When you even look at Google, there were allegations that they take up the people's work and they do not provide, that amount of consideration, compensation to them, which is satisfied. So I believe that there's a strict need to work on the digital law aspect. And regarding the youth, I believe that there is 2 segments to it. One that is very orthodox and working into that religious segment. Other thing, they are rising up as own entrepreneurs and leading India to a new better India.
Absolutely. A fair enough point in terms of seeing young leaders. In fact, you never know, out of this entire lot, we might see the young leader of tomorrow having their own startup or a business. And a fair enough point that she made about policies and what could essentially change. Is there a certain sector? She, of course, pointed out where, there is a loophole in terms of implementing that. Anybody would want to come in and probably give us a point about how you view that? Policy making? Any policies that Young India is gunning for?
I think government has done fairly well. We have seen the policy of Startup India, in which we have seen a very beautiful case of toy industry in India, in which we saw that our imports of toys were decreased by 52% and our exports were increased by 252%, which was a remarkable achievement by India. So I think India has done very well in this.
Okay.
So just to talk about a specific policy, I think in this regard the government needs to have a better planning. I think the GST structure has been good. It was very, very necessary. But I think the way the slabs have been designed. So we want the infrastructure of the country to be developed, right? So why would cement be in a category where 28% or above 20% GST is charged? Cement is a necessary good, right? No one is just hoarding up cement in their homes. It's not a lavish or a luxury thing. It's just to build homes, right? So you should have a GST charge for cement that is lower, so that it is cheaper for people to build homes. So like that, there are few other necessary items which need to come down to a lower GST slab, so that it resonates with how we are taught economics, so that necessities are taxed at a lower rate. So I think there the government needs to work a little on managing how these goods are placed in different categories in the GST policy.
Also, the education policy, like the most recent change that we saw was that after the 4-year UG course, you can opt for the PhD or the NEET exam as well. So I believe that the value of that PhD, that will decrease, because before that you have just one degree as compared to the earlier times when you used to have 2 degrees. So the overall value of what that degree held, that is going to decrease. But at the same time, the education policy has other factors as well, that you can choose your subjects. Like personally, I like biology, but I could not opt for it being from the commerce background. But that option is being given to my juniors. So I think that liberty of people to choose their own subjects and move into the fields that they like, and they can have the option to experiment and move into that sector. That is an opportunity again, but again, everything has 2 sides.
Absolutely, and this generation definitely wants a lot of options, right? It's probably easier to choose. She spoke about the quality of education. Anybody would want to talk about that, like she said, how she's analyzed it for herself, and then, of course, her juniors, how they are getting this opportunity, which we clearly didn't have in terms of exposure. So that's great to see. Would you like to add to it as to more, education policies? Are you happy with what you see? Do you say quality of education be at a level which might not force a lot of students to actually move abroad and pursue an education? Of course, that's an individual choice at the end of the day.
I think there is some scope and improvement in the integration of the digital world with the education sector. Like, for example, we see the government colleges and schools. I think the integration of the digital world is still lacking. Like, most of our classes are not smart classes, but we should have it, since we are Asia's one of the top commerce colleges right now, right? So I think there is some integration of the digital world and the side businesses of education. For example, the coaching centers that we have, or the online courses that we have. But in the schools or the colleges aspect of that side of it, I think there should be more of this.
All right, talking about more, let me quickly ask you all short answers in terms of one thing that India is lacking according to the youth. One thing.
I would consider medical thing, that we are not well versed with all the medical facilities that should be there. Basically, I would consider that people come from out of India for medical tourism, but I think it's not accessible for all people in India. So better accessibility of medical thing can be done.
All right, what about you?
For youth, I think it's in unemployment, which I can say that India is lacking in that.
A quick word.
I think India is lacking a strong opposition.
Okay.
Okay, all right. So talking specifically about us, I think India is lacking infrastructure to train teachers to teach well and better. So that's specifically a point where, teachers do not really have an institute where they can go and learn teaching. They know what to teach, but they don't know how to teach it. So I think that's a key point.
All right.
I think something India is lacking are equitable educational opportunities, right? Why is it that I can only get the best education in Delhi, but I can't get that level of education in a city like, let's say, Indore, or a city like Gurgaon even? So that is something.
So you believe that, in terms of education or any particular opportunity, that has to even go down to tier 3 cities?
That's right. At least till tier 3 should be the bottom line. And then if tier 4 is also there, that's an amazing thing.
Absolutely. Streamlining those opportunities. Yeah.
It's a ease of doing business, I think so, is a major concern, because जितने ज़्यादा businesses grow होंगे उतना employability create होगा, and never said never, but the government जो भी vacancies निकली है वो fulfill हो, क्योंकि जैसे government निकालती है exam, but the fraud in the exam or the cheating is the major issue that should be highlighted.
All right.
I believe the infrastructure in particularly educational facilities, like if we see engineering colleges, right? So there was a survey done in Tamil Nadu, and they found out that a lot of colleges don't have the essential or necessary equipments that are required to basically depart that kind of skill to that engineer. So basic skills are not being imparted. So how can we even expect that that kind of a person will be employable in the future? So I think that infrastructure is lacking.
I think India is lacking opportunities for all, equality among everyone.
I think India is lacking in medical infrastructure, the doctor to patient ratio, or maybe the number of hospitals. I think more of those could come up.
I think most of the points have been covered by my fellow mates, but one thing again that India is lacking in is the reviewing of the reservation category, the giving up of the benefits by the people who have surpassed that particular limit, that they do not need that benefit again, and also the treatment these categories and the PWD candidates they get, because I have seen it personally how even if on paper they have those opportunities and those equal pedestal, but the treatment that they get from the people in general and the way the government officials behave with them, that is very derogatory, and that is not how it should be, because we are looking forward to an equal India.
Alright, talking about an equal India, here's something that we will quickly talk about is the law in the country, right? How safe do youngsters feel in the country, irrespective of the gender? Is this one of the factors that you would like to keep in mind?
Talk about the recent thing, the 3 criminal laws that were passed. I believe that the main agenda why they were passed was to decolonize the law, but that did not happen, because the major law clauses, if you look at that, it's at the same level or even more draconian than the previous British laws that were established. So if someone is convicted who is not actually guilty, then they would face such repercussions, and this particular consequences would fall upon the people who are unfortunate, people who cannot escape this particular trap. Because when you look at the rich, the privileged one, they still have those, they have the network to get out of it. But the actual people, they will face the wrath of it.
All right, and before we quickly wrap up, a big message that you want to give all your fellow young Indians, first-time voters. In fact, I remember how excited I was when I went in to cast that vote, because it's a sense of huge responsibility. And at the end of the day, when you go and cast that vote, you're making a difference on the larger aspect of it. Of course, who you choose, who you don't choose is left up to you. Anybody would like to give a big message to all your fellow voters?
Yes, I think no one should choose Nota in the voting category. The reason being, it's a vote gone waste. The reason being, even if you think both the parties are wrong, you can choose the better party comparatively. That's how your vote won't go at least to win. That's what I think.
Yes, you wanted to add it?
The only message I would like to give to the youth is that vote for an educated leader, because a person who himself is educated can only focus upon the education of the country.
All right, very well put. Thank you everybody for voicing with us your opinion. What this definitely tells us that the generation not only knows what they want, there's clarity in their particular thought, no surprises for guessing as far as that is concerned. And more importantly, as far as voting is concerned, they definitely know what they want from that government, which means our future of the country is in absolutely safe hands. And on that note, I want to thank all of you for joining us here on this Mirror Now special on Youthgram with me, Nivedna Prabhu. Until next time, I'm signing off with my camera persons, Sanjeev Chetri as well as Vibha Baghel. Thank you very much for watching.